Greetings to all of you, wherever you're listening from. I am Commander Bimal Raj, a TEDx speaker, internationally certified trainer and coach, mindset mentor, and a teen and parents coach. In this podcast, The Awkward Talks, I bring you topics that are usually considered taboo or are not discussed freely, but are some of the most pivotal things that we should be talking about. Welcome everyone to this very special episode where we'll dive deep into a topic that has shaken the very foundations of the entertainment industry. Women in cinema. Well, both men and women in cinema. Today we focus on the state where I come from, Kerala, and the Malayalam film industry. I'm proud of my Malayalam cinema. I personally feel that they come out with some of the best original stories, direction and acting. And today, thanks to OTT, people all over India are able to appreciate Malayalam cinema. Think about it, guys. Cinema. It's a magical world that has the power to transport us to different times, places and realities. In India, films are more than just entertainment. They are part of our cultural fabric. Most youngsters dream of being part of the movies. I was no different. Luckily, I got a chance to act in a couple of movies when I was very young. So I've seen the amount of effort and time that goes into each shot of a movie. I wanted to be a hero because I, just like other heroes, wanted to visit the most beautiful places in the world and also get paid for it. However, in this episode, I want to talk about the darker side of cinema. A side filled with hidden risks, moral compromises and challenges that many men and women have faced, both behind the scenes and in the spotlight. Beneath all the glitz and glamour, there are stories of hardship, exploitation and battles for dignity. Stories that are not always talked about in the public eye. As women continue to step into leading roles in this industry, both in front of the camera and behind it, they also face these challenges. From enduring prejudice and stereotyping to more serious problems like casting couch, moral compromises and professional risk. In a nutshell, the entertainment industry can be a double-edged sword for women and for men as well. So why are we having this conversation today? Why does it matter to you whether you're an aspiring actress, filmmaker, or even just a fan of cinema? It's because the truths we will discuss in this podcast are not isolated to Mollywood or the Malayalam film industry. These issues permeate throughout entertainment industries, that too worldwide. Now let's talk about something that has happened recently, the Hema Commission Report. The Justice Hema Committee was constituted by the Kerala government after a case of assault of a leading actress in 2017. It is a detailed report on the Malayalam film industry and it points out to workplace harassment, gender-based discrimination and other forms of exploitation of women. It especially talks about the rampant issue of the casting couch, where roles are offered in exchange for sexual favors. It is important to note that such a commission has never been set up in any part of the world till now. The Hema Commission became a landmark movement, symbolizing a cry for change. Its formation was a direct response to decades of suppressed voices. These voices had long been silenced by the fear of losing opportunities, facing stigma, or being blacklisted from the industry. The Commission's goal was not just to investigate, but to start a dialogue about the ethics, values, and safety protocols that need to be upheld in an industry where women often walk a thin line between opportunity and exploitation. One of the key findings of the Commission was that harassment was not just limited to a few isolated incidents. It was widespread and systemic. The Commission found that many women, particularly those who were new to the industry, had been subjected to various forms of exploitation, and it ranged from inappropriate comments and unwanted advances to more serious forms of harassment and coercion. The casting couch, as we discussed earlier, was found to be a rampant issue with many women feeling pressure to trade sexual favors for roles. Now, to understand this, let's look at the early days of cinema. Back in the early 1900s, when cinema was still finding its feet, it was a male-dominated industry. Directors, producers, and writers were almost always men, and they decided how women were portrayed on screen, and they were mostly cast in roles that were very traditional, reflecting the societal norms of that time. Women were portrayed as damsels in distress, loving mothers, or devoted wives. By the mid-20th century, the world was changing, and so was cinema. The feminist movement began to influence the kind of stories that were being told. Women started to be portrayed as strong, independent characters who had their own stories to tell. One of the major turning points was the rise of women in directorial and production roles. In Hollywood, directors like Ida Lupino in the 1950s started making films that dealt with complex issues.
Issues like gender roles, mental health, and social justice. These topics were never touched upon by male directors. In India, the journey was somewhat similar, though it had its own unique challenges. By the 1980s and 1990s, more women started stepping into roles as directors, producers, and screenwriters in the Malayalam film industry. Filmmakers like Revati and Suhasini Maniratnam not only excelled as actresses, but also took on directorial roles telling stories from a women's perspective. And now we see women like Anjali Menon, who is not only a successful screenwriter and director in Malayalam film industry, but also a role model for aspiring filmmakers. Her films like Bangalore Days and Kude have resonated with the audiences, showcasing women as complex and multifaceted characters. The strides women have taken in this industry against all odds needs to be celebrated. However, we are going to discuss some difficult and uncomfortable truths. This discussion is not meant to discourage, but rather to shed light on the challenges that need to be addressed if we are to create a safer and more equitable industry for everyone. Let's start with the casting couch, a term that has unfortunately become synonymous with the entertainment industry. The casting couch refers to a practice where those in positions of power such as directors, producers, or casting agents demand sexual favors from aspiring actors, both women and men, in exchange for a role in a film. The casting couch isn't a new phenomenon. It's been around since the early days of cinema, when women were seen as disposable commodities in a male-dominated industry. They were expected to play along if they wanted to succeed. But how did it start and why has it continued for so long? I think the answer lies in the very structure of the industry. The entertainment industry, by its nature, is highly competitive and often lacks transparency. Opportunities are really scarce and the pressure to succeed is immense. This creates a situation where those in power can exploit their positions, preying on the dreams and vulnerabilities of young aspiring actors. Over the years, countless women have come forward with stories of being offered or even coerced into compromising situations. Some were able to walk away, but many felt that they had no choice but to comply. They feared that rejecting such advances would mean the end of their careers. The casting couch isn't about a single incident. It's about a system that allows such behavior to thrive unchecked, and it creates an environment where exploitation can easily take place. To understand the impact of casting couch and similar practices, let's look at some scandals that have shaken the entertainment industry, particularly in the Malayalam film industry. One of the most shocking scandals is the abduction and assault of a well-known leading actress in Kerala. This incident, which made national headlines, brought to light the deep-seated issues of power abuse and exploitation within the industry. The actress's bravery in coming forward not only highlighted the dangers women face in the industry, but also sparked a much-needed conversation about the safety and dignity of women in cinema. The scandal wasn't an isolated incident, it was a symptom of a larger problem, a culture of silence and complicity that was allowed exploitation to go unchecked for years. Another major issue is the use of blackmail, where women are initially lured into compromising shoots with promising careers. They call it test shoots and then they are blackmailed or coerced into keeping quiet with the threat of exposing these test shoots. Now let's talk about the moral standards and ethics of the entertainment industry. The pressure to succeed in the entertainment industry can lead to moral compromises. For many women, the choice is often between maintaining their personal integrity and advancing their careers. This creates a toxic environment where unethical behavior is not only tolerated but sometimes even expected. One of the biggest challenges is the lack of accountability. When those in power abuse their positions, there are often no consequences. This lack of accountability perpetuates a culture where exploitation can continue unchecked. Women who speak out often face backlash, including being blacklisted from the industry, which only serves to silence others who might be facing similar situations. The entertainment industry, for all its glamour, can be a dangerous place, especially for women. Personal safety is a significant concern, not just in terms of physical harm, but also in psychological and emotional toll that the industry can take. The film world is intense, competitive, and unregulated, and it creates an environment where boundaries can easily be crossed. The mental toll of working in the film industry can be equally, if not more, damaging. The constant pressure to succeed, to maintain a certain image, and to meet the expectations of others can lead to severe stress, anxiety, and even depression. Women in the industry often face a unique set of challenges, being objectified, judged, and scrutinized in a way that their male counterparts may not experience. For many women, the stress of navigating a career in film can lead to burnout, feeling of isolation, and even mental health crisis. It's not uncommon for actresses and filmmakers to struggle with self-esteem issues, body image concerns, and a constant fear of not being good enough. The concept of shelf life is a harsh reality for many actresses. The industry's obsession with youth and beauty means that women are often pigeonholed into certain roles, usually as a love interest, the mother, or the pretty face. As they age, the roles become scarcer and the opportunities for more complex, meaningful characters are often reserved for a select few. Finally, let's discuss the impact of public scrutiny and the constant pressure to maintain a certain reputation. When you're in the public eye, every aspect of your life is under a microscope. For women in the film industry, this scrutiny can be relentless. Every choice, every action, and every word is analyzed, criticized, and often judged. Living in the spotlight means that your personal life is no longer private. Relationships, family matters, and even personal struggles are often dragged into the public domain. This constant exposure can be incredibly taxing on one's self-worth and personal identity. The pressure to maintain a perfect public image can lead to a loss of authenticity where the line between the real person and the public persona becomes blurred. Now it's time to address a crucial question. Should young women consider a career in the film industry? This is a question that many aspiring actresses and filmmakers grapple with, especially in the light of the issues that we've discussed. Let's start by weighing the pros and cons of a career in the film industry. Like any profession, a career in film comes with its own advantages and disadvantages. First, the pros. A career in film offers an incredible platform for creative expression. It's the highest. If you're passionate about storytelling, acting, directing, or any other aspect of filmmaking, the industry gives you the opportunity to bring your visions to life. It's a dynamic and exciting field where no 2 days are the same, and the chance to work with talented individuals from various backgrounds can be incredibly rewarding. Another major advantage is the potential for recognition and fame. For many, the possibility of becoming a household name and the excitement of seeing your work on the big screen are powerful motivators. The film industry also offers huge financial rewards, especially if you achieve success. However, there are cons to consider as well. Like I mentioned, the film industry is highly competitive and breaking into it can be extremely challenging. For every success story, there are countless others who struggle to find opportunities. It is said that every day about 30 people arrive in Mumbai with dreams of making it big in the Bollywood industry. Rejection is a common experience and the pressure to continually prove yourself can be overwhelming. Another major downside is the lack of job security. Acting roles, for instance, are often short-term, and even those who achieve success may find it difficult to maintain a steady career over time. The industry's obsession with youth can also lead to a limited shelf life for actresses, creating a big challenge to their career longevity. Now let's talk about practical guidance for youngsters who are considering a career in film. If you're passionate about this field and determined to pursue it, there are steps you can take to navigate the challenges and protect yourself along the way. First and foremost, it is essential to be realistic about what to expect. The film industry is not as glamorous as it may seem from the outside. It's a tough, competitive environment where you'll need to work hard, face rejection, and deal with a lot of uncertainty. Preparing yourself mentally for these challenges is extremely crucial. One of the most important things you can do is to build a strong support system. Surround yourself with people who understand the industry and who can offer advice, support, and encouragement when you need it. This could include mentors, coaches, fellow actors, directors, or even friends and family who can provide emotional support. Another key aspect is protecting yourself from exploitation. Always be cautious when it comes to auditions, contracts, and interactions with industry professionals. Make sure that you understand your rights and don't be afraid to say no if something doesn't feel right. It's also important to be aware of the casting couch phenomenon and take steps to avoid situations where you might be vulnerable. Developing your core skills is another important step. Take acting classes, attend workshops, and continuously work on improving your craft. The more skilled and versatile you are, the better your chances are of finding opportunities and breaking out of typecasting. Also consider diversifying your skills by exploring other aspects of filmmaking, such as writing, directing, and producing. Lastly, let's talk about the importance of staying true to your values and ethics in the film industry. This is perhaps one of the most challenging aspects of a career in film, but it's also one of the most important. In an industry where you may be pressured to compromise your values, it is crucial to take the time to reflect on what's important to you. Ask yourself, what are my core values? What lines am I willing to cross? Having a clear understanding of your ethical boundaries will help you make decisions that align with your personal beliefs, even in difficult situations. So, should you consider a career in the film industry? The answer depends on your passion, resilience, and the willingness to navigate the challenges we have discussed. Yes, the industry is tough. Yes, there are challenges that you will have to face, challenges that sometimes may feel overwhelming. But I want you to know that it's possible to have a successful, fulfilling, and impactful career in the film industry. Always remember, you have a voice, and your stories matter. The industry needs diverse voices, and it needs those who are willing to push beyond, challenge the status quo, and bring new perspectives to the screen. So don't be afraid to dream big. The road may be challenging, but it's also full of possibilities. Now, before I wind up, I want to go back to the Hema Commission report and its aftermath. There are always mixed reactions when something like this comes out. Same had happened during the Me Too movement as well. Many of us tend to trivialize these issues by asking or commenting things like, why didn't she come out earlier? Or not all men are like this. Or, but this happens in every industry. Please understand that these kind of responses only help in shifting the focus away from the core problem, and it undermines the goal of such a movement. Let's look at each of these before we wind up. First, the question, why didn't she come out earlier? This is one of the most common comments heard when a survivor of a sexual harassment or assault speaks out. This question subtly suggests that since the survivor was okay about it till now, the credibility of the story is questionable, or she's looking for some fame. The reality is that coming forward about sexual harassment or assault is an incredibly difficult and often traumatic decision. Survivors may fear not being believed, facing retaliation, or suffering further emotional distress. The power dynamics at play, especially in professional environments, can make it feel impossible to speak out. By questioning the timing of a survivor's disclosure, we are ignoring the courage it took to come out, and we are diverting attention from the systemic issues that allows abuse to continue unchecked. Next, not all men are like this. Another defensive response is the statement, not all men are like this. While it's true that not all men are involved in sexual harassment or violence, this statement misses the point entirely. These outcries from the victims are not about vilifying men or making blanket accusations against an entire gender. It's about addressing a pervasive culture that enables and excuses abusive behavior. Next one, but this happens in every industry. That's another common refrain that dilutes the power of these movements. While it's true that sexual harassment and abuse are not confined to a single sector, this acknowledgement should prompt us to address the problem universally rather than dismissing it as an inevitable aspect of various workplaces. When we say this happens everywhere, we risk normalizing the behavior rather than challenging it. The fact that these issues are so widespread should compel us to work harder to create environments where such behavior is not tolerated, no matter what the industry is. To conclude, let me talk about the danger of being defensive about these issues. When we make defensive reactions to these movements, they can actively hinder progress. These reactions also help in silencing the survivors instead of giving them the required support to engage in meaningful discussion. Instead of asking why a survivor didn't speak out sooner, we should ask how can we create a safer environment for others to come forward. Instead of asserting that not all men are to blame, we should focus on holding those who are accountable. Instead of shrugging off harassment as something that happens everywhere, we should commit to making sure that it happens nowhere. By resisting the urge to go on the defensive, we can contribute to meaningful change. We can support survivors, challenge toxic cultures, and work towards a future where there is respect, equality, and safety for everyone across all industries. Trust me, there are many out there who are brilliant and bright and have amazing stories to tell. Let's try and work together and create a space where it is safe for for anyone and everyone to work. If you like this episode, please do not forget to rate our podcast. Please do click on the follow button so that you don't miss any of our episodes. I'm Commander Bimal Raj and I will be back with another episode very soon. Thank you.